Hey everyone, Eric Hayden here in the garden today. It's the last couple days of April. This may actually post after I record it. We've been quite windy the last couple days, so I haven't been able to record, and I have some videos that have been backed up in terms of what we've recorded before. But I wanted to show you the first blooms of the season. First, roses that have been just pruned or just leafing out. Other ones have a lot of leaves on them. And we do have some ones that are starting to get some buds. So that's usually a couple weeks away from opening up. So things are looking good in the garden. Mulch is down. Roses are starting to bud. Ones that were not pruned as an experiment, Alina, and on the right, Yolande de Aragon, very, very tall. And this is the rose I want to show you. This is an old garden rose. I'm not overly excited about the blooms on this a lot of times. My son likes it, so I kept it. This is actually an own root, which means it's not on a rootstock. I bought this at Palatine Roses and then planted it in New York, left it there when we moved, and then my parents got same variety of different bush, and they planted it in Maryland, and then I grafted it or took a stem and put it in some soil and made a copy or own root. I'm more of a hybrid tea fan. You can see it has certainly a different shape to it. I'm going to make a few of these, or not make a few, I'm going to cut a few of these tonight because it'll open up and then just kind of go to waste out here in the garden. It's a beautiful bloom. Again, I prefer a hybrid tea bloom, kind of the classic shape, but what I can't show you through this video is the smell, and that's the best part. This fragrance, old garden rose, it's the best smelling rose I have. I have Mr. Lincoln, Fragrant Cloud, Double Delight, Dolly Parton, some of the stronger varieties, and it's hard to beat this. The downside of this, you can still get it in commerce, but the downside is it does only bloom prolifically once a season. So its primary bloom is in spring. You can see it's a beautiful tall bush, and there's a lot more coming, lots of buds. So this is going to have many, many blooms on this, probably for about a 3-week window. I did notice over having it a couple years in New York and then down here, it's listed as a bush that can bloom again in the fall, and I just didn't see it. But last year, I think I have to remember when I did this, but last year I pruned it back a little bit in the midsummer, and that did encourage a fall bloom. It was not as prolific. You can see, we have multiple blooms right now on the rose itself, and there's still many, many buds coming. So not as prolific as it does in the spring, but nonetheless, looking forward to perhaps a second bloom come fall. You will notice some of the residue on the leaves. That's Manzate, one of the sprays I use as a contact killer for black spot and a preventative for that. So that's it. I'll leave you with how it looks in the vase here to wrap up the video, but I want to show you the first blooms of 2021. Again, these are the last few days of April, about when we usually see blooms here. The rest of the garden going to be much later, probably another 3 weeks because of the hard freeze we had. But harder your roses, like your old garden roses, didn't get burned one iota from the freeze. If the rose has been around since 1843, it's been through a couple hard freezes. So that variety is certainly a tough one. Have a great one, everyone.